Hi, this is Lori, and this is my homework for lesson number 24 in Paul McWhorter's Uno R4 course. In this lesson, we've been asked to make a toggle switch from a push button switch, and we'll be using an external pull-up resistor in our circuit. This problem I've done before in Paul's courses, so I knew how to make a toggle switch work the way Paul wanted it to. But I recall that the first time I saw this, I didn't get it initially. I didn't know how to think about this problem. I didn't know how to puzzle through. I struggled with it for a little bit because I think, oh, I'm a smart person. I should be able to figure this out. But I'm pretty sure I didn't get it. And I think I watched his solution. And then once I saw how he thought about it, I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I just want to encourage everybody, if you didn't get this after trying on your own, thinking about it for a while, don't feel bad about that. I think Paul indicated it's a hard concept that he found a lot of students in his program in college didn't pick up on this immediately. I just want to encourage you not to feel bad about that. It's good to struggle with a problem for a little while, but once you have and you're not making progress, then it's okay to watch the solution and try to learn from someone who does know how to do it, a master at it like Paul. And then once you see how he starts to think about it, you can put that, up here and say, okay, this is the way to think about problems like this in electronics. And eventually you'll build up enough of those techniques, those ways of thinking, that when another problem comes at you that's different than these, you'll start to be able to put those pieces together. Most people don't come with a genius level of understanding of everything initially. And I know when I was younger in my career, I thought people did do that, and maybe there are a few people that are like that. I have met a couple of them in my career. But the vast majority of us learn from our experiences, and we learn from others. We learn how to do things by seeing how others do it. And then, eventually you get really good at it. And I know I had that in my career. Early on, I had the great fortune of working with some really great people in my field, and I learned from them. And by the time, I was very senior in my field, I wasn't I could solve most problems that came my way. But that was because I was exposed to so many solutions and ways of thinking of the people, who taught me. So I guess I just want to encourage everybody. I think you can get discouraged thinking that people, lots of people can just figure this stuff out without hardly any background in anything. So, just stick to it. We'll get there, and eventually you'll be able to solve these problems on your own as you build up the right level of experience. So with that little pep talk, let's go through the code that I put together for the homework. And first I'll just show my layout over here. I have the button with the external pull up resistor because it's connected into power, and the other side is connected into ground. And then here's my LED with the current limiting resistor, and both of those are coming into our Uno. All right, let's take a look at the code, and we can see that we'll just set up the pins for the LED and the button. And then the key thing with this problem was recognizing that you need to know what happened on the last time through the loop to the button and what's happening to the button on the current loop. And that's how you're going to detect that the button has been pressed and let go of, by having those two variables and keeping track of what happened last time through the loop and what's happening currently. So the current button state and the last button state, that's the critical technique or thinking that you have to get this problem. And then we need to track whether the LED is on or off. So we'll set up our button and our LED here, output, input, and we'll start the serial monitor so that we can print what the current state of the LED, just to keep track of that and see how it's going. And then in the void loop, we'll obviously read the button initially, and very first thing we're going to do, and then to detect if the button has been pressed and let go of, well, it has to be low on the last time through. In other words, it was being pressed last loop, but now on the current loop, it's high again. It's no longer pressed, and that's the only way that can happen. Last time through it was being pressed, and the current time it's high now. And if you wanted to flip it around so that it came on the initial press, well, you just flip these two states, that it was high on the last one, but now it's low. So it wasn't being pressed last time, but now it's low. So once you get that, I think it kind of works for you. And in my code, I'm just doing a simple, whatever the LED state was the last time we went into this loop, we're going to flip it by using the not symbol, and then we'll just write that to our LED, that state to our LED, and we'll print the status of the LED to the serial monitor. And then that key thing about saying, okay, well, we're now through this loop, so let's set the last button state to what it was at the top of this loop, and go back, put a little delay in for debouncing, and go back through the loop again. So that's the critical thing you had to figure out. And I do think that's a pretty hard thing to figure out without ever having programmed something like this before. I think you kind of just have to see it. Maybe some people are smart enough to get it on their own. Like I said in my pep talk, I wasn't one of those people. Okay, so I have found that sometimes you'll notice you don't see LED is 0 printed here in the serial monitor. We may have just missed it. But I have noticed that when you print inside the void loop, setup loop sometimes, it doesn't always take. I don't know why. So I'm going to come over here and reset it. And yeah, now we get the LED is 0. LED state is off. Okay, so that worked. And so now let's just try our button. So I'll come around here and we'll press it on. And I'm going to let go, and it should come on. Right? I'm going to press and hold and let go, and it comes off. And quick presses should work. Yeah, so that's my homework. Thanks, Paul, for the great lessons, and thank you for watching.